you have given the muscle a stress to which it is unfamiliar with, which has broken it, and it then causes an adaptation response, meaning the muscle must become stronger because it is now expecting to have that load again. Hello and welcome. I am Coach Castle, a certified biomechanics expert, nutritionalist, and efficiency coach. Subscribe to this channel to learn the most efficient ways to maximize your muscle growth and recovery, enhance your body, and advance your mind, all using the latest science. Welcome to Castle's Corner. Hey guys, and welcome to Castle's Corner. I am Coach Castle, and today I'll be answering your fitness-related questions as briefly as I'm able to. If you'd like a longer form explanation, check out my other videos on YouTube, but I'll just be doing these short form without too much of a complicated explanation. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into these questions here. So the first question is, how much cardio should I be doing? So in terms of cardio, it's pretty simple. Everyone is unique, has unique bodies, unique health goals, fitness goals, so on and so forth. However, that being said, you do cardio for your heart primarily, and the heart is the most important muscle in the body. So I recommend everyone do some form of cardio on a daily basis. Now, when I say some form of cardio, I'm referring to you can walk, you can jog, you can ride your bike, you can have some form of an elliptical, treadmill, something like that in your home or a gym that you go to. You don't have to do this for long. You can do a 30-minute walk in the morning, a couple 10-minute walks after you eat a meal perhaps, just before bed. Take a quick walk. When you hit the gym, you could do your cardio before or after your workout, provided it's not high intensity. I hope that answers your question. So, next question is, how effective is the push-pull training style? Now, I get this question a lot, and there seems to be some confusion about it. So, to explain this simply, there's no such thing as a push-pull training style. Now, muscles only pull, they do not push. So to explain this simply, every muscle on your body only has one function, and that is to move a bone in your body, to move it one direction. Now, in order to do that, the muscle simply has to pull or contract towards its origin. It's just like if I gave you a rope and I tied that rope to a refrigerator and I told you to pull that refrigerator, you would only be able to pull it towards yourself. So typically for a push-pull, you would say chest and back. So your push would be like a bench press or something. However, you have to understand that's not actually a pushing movement. When you do a bench press, what's happening is that your chest muscles, the origin here and the insertion here, this insertion on your arm is being pulled, which is causing the muscle to contract towards the origin. So it's still not a push movement. There's no muscle in your body which pushes. So my thoughts on push-pull workouts are, it's a stupid name. It can be effective if you use the principle effectively. Now, the principle of a push-pull workout is something called reciprocal intervention, which basically means that when one muscle is working, the opposing muscle is not. So some examples would be if you're training your biceps, neurologically, your tricep is turned off. So you can train those back to back with no fatigue. You can superset those. You can do your quads and your hamstrings. You can do your abs and your erector spinae. You can do your obliques on one side, your obliques on the other side. You can do your forearm flexor, your forearm extensor. I mean, there's a lot of these, but that's the principle. Would be training one muscle group and then the opposing muscle group on the other side of the body. That itself is very effective, but the name is misleading. Next question, how long should I spend in the gym? How long should my workouts be? So this is going to lead into the next question, but I'll give you a simple answer for this one. Your workouts should be as long as they need to be. I know that might seem like kind of a cop-out answer, but they should not be any longer than is necessary. So for example, if you are training with very high intensity and very heavy weight, meaning you are exerting maximum effort, you will only be able to perform 2 to 3 sets. If you try to perform beyond that, you will simply not be able to. Now, most of you don't know what high intensity is, but I assure you, if you train with high intensity, you are completely unable to do past 3 sets. You won't be able to do it, and if you are not training with high intensity. Now, if you're training with medium intensity, you would be doing something more like 3 to 6 sets with more reps than you would be doing with high intensity. And if you're doing something like very low intensity, it would be a lightweight for many reps. You get the idea. So each of those scenarios is a different time in the gym. So for me, with my high intensity workouts, if I do chest and back, I'm in and out of the gym in 25 minutes. If somebody with medium intensity does chest and back, they might be there half an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. Somebody with very low intensity, they would need something like an hour and a half. I don't know why you would do that, but people will vary with their workouts. The next question was, variations of multiples of this question was, could I please explain high intensity training? So I just started to, but high intensity training is you selecting a weight, which is on the first rep already very difficult, very challenging. Okay, and you'll be proceeding upwards to be building strength and growing muscle. Now, a word which is thrown around a lot is hypertrophy. I don't like the word because hypertrophy just means muscle growth. Now, when you go to the gym, either you are building muscle, which means technically you're actually breaking it down and then recovering it, so your muscle's growing. You are maintaining muscle, which means you're doing the same workouts and nothing's changing and you're seeing no results. Or you're going backwards, which means you're going backwards. Those are the only 3 things possible. Now, in return to high intensity training is just the most efficient form of muscle growth. The reason it's the most efficient form of muscle growth, it is the least amount of time spent in the gym. It is the least number of reps that you will be performing necessary to grow muscle. It will damage the most number of muscle fibers. And overall, you can maintain your focus the whole time because it's a shorter workout. You can create more intensity because it's a shorter workout. The problem is people don't understand going till failure. So a huge proponent of high intensity is failure training. Now, failure doesn't mean that you stop when it hurts. It doesn't mean you stop when it's uncomfortable. It means you stop the movement when you have exactly 0 range of motion left. So if you're doing a bicep curl, and you're doing a bicep curl with low intensity, say you'd be using 10 pounds, you could perform that for probably 80 to 100 reps, okay? Now, take that 10 pounds, we're gonna make it 30 pounds. Now you're around mid-intensity. You can probably perform that for 20 to 30 reps. Now we're gonna take that, we're gonna increase it to 50 pounds. Now you're probably gonna only get 5 or 6 reps, and then you will fail. Fail meaning you can no longer lift your target limb, in this case it would be the forearm, with your bicep, meaning you fail as in no matter what, if you had a gun in your mouth, you would not be able to lift the weight. And then you do that for 3 sets, 2 or 3 sets depending, I should say, at which point in time, each set will get less reps. So your first set with that 50 pounds, you'll probably get 6 or 7 reps. The next set, 4 or 5. The next set, 2 or 3. You're done. Leave the gym. And then you don't target that bicep again for 7 to 9 days. Okay? That's high intensity and then recovering from it. Again, the problem is the only way to properly have high intensity training is you must use isolation exercises. The reason for this is unless you are using isolation exercises, you will always be able to use other muscle groups or momentum or other things to assist with the lift. Therefore, it's not true failure training. So I hope that's a quick summary of high intensity. All right, so next question would be, how many sets and how many reps should I be doing? Well, that goes right in hand with high intensity training. So depending on how intense you are training will decide the sets and reps. So you'll sometimes hear people say, I'm trying to lose weight. I'm trying to lose body fat, I should say. I'm going to do very low weight and high reps in the gym to burn fat. That's not really how it works. Or you hear somebody say, I'm trying to build strength, so I'm going to do only 5 by 5. Again, that's not really how it works. Either you're growing muscle or you're not. Now, the whole key to growing muscle is simply taking the muscle till failure, meaning you have given the muscle a stress to which it is unfamiliar with, which has broken it, and it then causes an adaptation response, meaning the muscle must become stronger because it is now expecting to have that load again. The only way that works is if you break the muscle, meaning you take it till failure, and then you allow it sufficient time to recover and then super recover. So the number of sets and reps will depend entirely on your level of intensity. But regardless if you're training with low intensity, medium intensity, or high intensity, your goal should be taking it to musculature failure and then allowing enough time to recover the muscle. What are my thoughts on marijuana in the gym? That's a funny question for me, actually. So for those of you who don't know me, I love marijuana. I'm a big fan. I smoke a lot. My thoughts on it in the gym, I've trained many clients over the years. I've had many people ask me this question, and my answer is it is always entirely individual to the individual. So some people like myself, I can smoke a ton of weed. I can have a 500,000 milligram edible. I can go in the gym and I can complete my workout properly. How do I know that? It's because I track my workouts, my sets, and my reps. And every workout, it better go up. The sets and the reps better go up every workout. So if I go in there and I'm stoned out of my mind, but I still complete my workout, the sets and the reps have increased from last time, I know it did not affect my performance. If, and everybody has seen this, you've seen somebody smoke weed and they turn into a couch potato and they melt into the floor, I would say you probably should not do that if you're going to be working out. I like it for recovering after a workout because it puts you in a relaxed state. I like it for several things. However, in actually working out in the gym for your training purposes, it's very unique, and I would honestly just tell you to try it out for yourself and see how it works. But don't go by feel, because when you're in the gym and you're high, everything feels awesome. You feel like you're Superman and you're doing great. Make sure that you're tracking your progress. You have a partner to keep an eye on you. Make sure you're very, very strict, very good form, and just make sure it's actually working. You don't just think it's working. All right. How can I improve my sleep quality? My sleep quality is suffering dreadfully. So this is another common question. I will answer it as simply as I can, but it's a complicated subject. All right, so an hour or two before bed, no screens. Turn your phone off, turn your TV off, nothing. You can listen to music on the radio or something, but don't be looking at anything. No social media, no phones, no blue light, nothing, none of that, okay? Next, no food. An hour before bed. Give yourself time to just kind of chill before bed. You should be drinking water. You should be taking your supplements, your multivitamins before bed, these kinds of things. A big help is taking a hot shower or a hot bath just before you go to bed, because the way that you sleep rapidly is your torso needs to be cool and your hands and your feet need to be warm. So if you take a hot bath, you get overheated. In order to cool yourself, your body pushes the body heat out of your torso into your limbs, which is exactly what you want for sleep. Another thing you're going to want to do is make sure you have a completely dark room. No lights, totally dark. Get some blackout curtains. Also, earplugs. I'm a big fan of silicone earplugs. They don't really kill noise, but they definitely deaden it. And that's a big help in getting you back into sleep. You can also meditate about 5 minutes before bed. Sit on your bed, lay on your bed, sit beside your bed. Focus on your breathing, just in and out. Focus on the raw sensory data of your breath. It'll make you nice and relaxed and in a good place to go to sleep. Maybe even just focus on slowing your breathing down. There's a lot of things you can do. As for some supplements, I would recommend GABA. GABA helps relax your body. Melatonin. Usually we're depleted in melatonin and we don't even realize it. If you've had too much caffeine or something during the day, perhaps, I would suggest St. John's wort. It's great at calming you down for that. CBD, I know, works for some people, like the gummies. You can smoke a little bit of weed if you like, back to the weed. But just remember that THC does interfere with your ability to dream. It doesn't affect your sleep cycles, but it does. And on to sleep cycles, I would say make sure that you are, in fact, sleeping in sleep cycles. And a sleep cycle would be a 90-minute block. So that puts you through all stages of REM sleep. It's a full cycle of sleep. Now, most people need 4 to 5 cycles of sleep a night. So whatever time you go to bed, say you go to bed at 10, Just count out 90-minute blocks, 4 to 5 of those, and that's the time that you're going to set your alarm to wake up. If you wake up after that, after setting the sleep cycles, you will wake up refreshed, energized, feeling great. If you don't do that and you just set your alarm for whatever time you need to wake up and you interrupt one of your sleep cycles, you wake up in the middle of one of your sleep cycles, you're going to wake up feeling like crap. You're going to be lethargic and tired. So it's very important to go with the sleep cycles. And then finally, when you wake up, just a little tidbit, get some immediate light, turn all the lights in your apartment on, go get some sunlight outside right away. Drink a glass of water with a salt pill. You've been dehydrated from sleeping all night. Protein shake, take your morning pills, coffee, caffeine pill, whatever you got to do. Next. I haven't exercised in years. How can I integrate exercise into my life? I'm having trouble. Okay. Well, I understand this for a lot of people. They have not been exercising, going to the gym. They don't even know what to do, but they want to start and they don't know where to start. So I would honestly say start by just doing what you can do. So what does that mean? Take a walk in the morning, take a walk at night. Do some push-ups, do some squats. Try to chain your push-ups and squats to things that you already do during the day. Don't set aside a specific time for exercise. Perhaps every time you wash your hands, do 5 squats. Every time that you go into the bedroom, do 5 chin-ups on the door. I mean, whatever you have to do to start integrating it into your life. The thing is, we want to start tying habits to habits so that they can become permanent. If you just say, and you know how it is, I'm going to work out 3 days this week and that's my plan. It's probably not going to get done because you didn't set a day, you didn't set a time, you didn't have a plan, you didn't know what you were going to do for a workout. That's not going to get done. But if you say every other day, I'm going to make sure that I do a minimum of 50 squats and a 1-mile walk, and I'm going to do the 1-mile walk after breakfast, and I'm going to do the 50 squats by doing 10 squats every time I wash my hands. Well, you're already great getting into that kind of like disciplined mindset. You're chaining your habits together to make sure it gets done. You're already laying out a plan for your success. There is no excuses to be getting it done this way. Don't leave it foggy. Don't say, I'll work out sometime today, sometime tomorrow. Set a clear time. Put it in your schedule, your Google Calendar or something. What's the best way to track my food? Why do I have so much trouble tracking my food? So, baby steps. Not everybody can just immediately download something like MyFitnessPal app and start plugging away tracking their food. And that's because people are lazy. They're not used to doing these things. It's not habitual. It's strange. It's new. It's unfamiliar. They're scared to start. So here's what I would say to you people who are having trouble tracking your food or you don't know where to start. Get a piece of paper, get a little tiny notebook, get a pen, put it in your pocket, or use notes on your phone. Every time you eat something, just write down what you eat. I just had a burger and a Diet Coke. Just write it down. Don't worry about the calories. Don't worry about any of that. Just write down what you ate. Keep doing that for a week or so. It's going to be hard, but do your best. Keep doing that for about a week. And then the next week, why don't you start just actually costing out the macros for one of those items a day? So you had 4 meals on Monday. Pick one of the meals. Google it online, whichever the easiest meal was. Google it online. What are the macros for a 3-egg omelet with cheese and bacon? And it might not be exactly what you ate, but it'll give you a good idea. And then in your little notebook, go ahead and write down the macros next to that item. Now, eventually, if you keep doing this, you'll build the habit of doing it, and you can get more complicated and more complex by it. If you are serious about losing weight or building muscle or being very healthy, then you do kind of have to track your macros, at least to a small degree in the beginning, until you can eyeball it. But that usually takes a couple of months to be able to do. And if you're competing or you're very serious about losing fat, you have to track. It's not negotiable. You must be tracking, but that doesn't mean you have to jump right into it. Just start off real small, real simple, guys. What form of cardio is the best for fat loss? Well, that's actually, I'll keep it as simple as I can, but there are multiple answers. But the simplest form of cardio for fat loss is also the best form. So the simplest and best form is just slow, steady walk. So the reason for slow, steady walk is very simple. If you walk slow and steady, you are not depleting the glucose stores in your muscles. The glucose stores are what happens when you eat carbohydrates, so on and so forth. There's a process called glucogenesis, and it just kind of shuttles it into your muscles, replenishing your glucose stores. When you do running, jogging, jump rope, those kinds of things, exercise, lifting weights, that digs into your glucose stores and uses up your energy. It doesn't burn fat, it burns glucose. When you do a slow, steady walk, especially on like an incline, a slight incline treadmill particularly, what happens, and I do mean slow and steady, meaning you can probably have a conversation while you're walking. What that does is it actually mobilizes and uses your fat for energy instead of the glucose, because it's not high enough intensity to warrant using the glucose. So it actually just over time uses your fat stores. So that would actually be the best, would be an inclined form of cardio, walking outside. Just make sure it's a slow, steady pace. You're not sweating and dying and having difficulty breathing. That would be using glucose stores. And also, by the way, when you do stuff like that, it increases your hunger cravings as well. So the walking does not increase your hunger cravings. What are my thoughts on steroids and steroid protocols? Okay. So my thoughts on steroids, they are a wonderful tool if you use them right. Who do I think should be using steroids? That's not my business. I believe everyone should have access to any tools that they want, provided they understand how to use them. The issue is most people have no idea how to diet, how to exercise, or of course how to use chemicals. Now, as you know, your body is just a big bag of chemicals anyways, but when you start screwing around with those chemicals and hormones and injecting things, you better know what you're doing, and you need to know how your body will respond. You have to be taking protectants. You have to be monitoring your blood work. You have to check your prolactin levels. You have to check your estrogen levels. You have to do a lot of different things to make sure that you're on the right track, that your hormones are not compromised in any particular direction. That way you're actually making gains. The problem is with so many guys, they get a gym membership and then they immediately just jump on the gear and they start just running rampant. They get bitch tits, their nipples swell up, they get hormonal imbalances, they act like a woman on their period, they destroy their relationships, and guess what? They're not even building muscles because everything is so screwed up that they don't even, it's just, know what you're doing. Do the research yourself or contact somebody who fucking knows what they're doing. Don't just be injecting chemicals into your body willy-nilly hoping it'll work. You have no idea how many guys I have helped, how many clients I've had who tell me their so-called protocols that they're taking and they're abhorrent, they're awful, their estrogen levels are through the roof. These guys, they can't have a relationship, they can't have friends, they're unable to manage their emotions, they look like shit, they're covered in acne, they're fat, they're bloated. Okay, that's steroids if you don't know what you're doing. Steroids are a finishing touch. After you have maximized your genetics, after you've already learned how to train properly, after you've learned how to eat proper, healthy food consistently, then you can add the steroids. There's so many people, you all personally listening to this right now know who are taking steroids in your gym, and you'd never guess it because they look like garbage. They don't look like bodybuilders. They look like big, fat, ugly apes. That's because they don't know what they're doing. There's little 110-pound girls chock full of steroids. It's not making any difference to them because they're not taking them correctly. They're not eating enough protein to build muscle. It's just screwing up their bodies. So my opinion on steroids is make sure you know what the hell you're doing. Use them after you've maximized your genetic potential and you know how to diet and you know how to supplement and you know how to do everything. Then it's probably time to take steroids. And by the way, you'll probably be in your 25, 26, 27, 28, even 30 by this point. So don't be taking them if you're young. You still have a developing brain and body. Don't be taking them. Okay, wait till your minimum of 25, I would say. That being said, you all are going to do whatever you want, but that's my advice. How much protein do I need to eat and what form is the best? Okay? How much protein do you need to eat? I assume the person asking this is trying to build muscle because otherwise it's irrelevant. So if you are eating protein to build muscle, here's how it works. I will be clear about this. if you are not taking any form of PEDs or performance enhancing drugs, if you're not taking steroids, if you're not taking SARMs, if you're not taking any form of performance enhancing drug, you need roughly 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Very simple. So if you weigh 150 pounds, you want to be eating 150 pounds of protein. If you are overweight, so if you're fat and you're dieting and you want to build muscle and lose fat, you want to have more protein than that. You want to have slightly more, and that's because protein has a satiating effect. So, meaning it keeps you feeling full. Now, if you are on PEDs or steroids or SARMs or performance enhancing drugs, whatever it is, okay? If you are taking those, then you need more protein. 1.5 grams per pound of body weight, up to 2 grams, okay? That's how much if you are on gear. Now that's because you have a higher rate of absorption and better nutrient partitioning when you're on these drugs. That's the only reason, just to be clear about that. Now as for the best form of protein, I wouldn't really say there's a best form. Protein is protein. However, I would always suggest you get your protein from animal products. Don't get it from soy. I would always suggest that you try to get, I guess I would say clean or healthy proteins, though I don't really like using those words. Just make sure that whatever protein you're eating is something that is from an animal, basically. So the plant protein, it doesn't interact with your body quite the same way. So the animal proteins, my preferred are beef, elk, chicken. I don't like fish very much. I take fish oil, not a big fan of fish myself, but fish is fine. I mean, whatever, just pick an animal, go crazy. Just make sure that you know the macros for it. And if it's a high fat protein, make sure you take that into account. Let's see here. Should I bulk and cut? Absolutely not. So I'm very firm on this one. I've been hearing this for years. I have absolutely no idea why everyone does this or why everyone promotes it. There is absolutely no reason ever to bulk and cut. When you bulk, let me explain what happens. You bulking for 3 or 4 or 5 months, all you are doing is putting on fat. That's it. That's all. And that's everything. All of that extra food that you're eating is going entirely, 100% to fat. You're adding fat to your body. Does that sound healthy to you? Do you know why you're able to move more weights in the gym? It's because you have a higher body weight, meaning you have more fat on your body, meaning you have a higher body weight, meaning you can now move more weight because you're heavier. Okay? Do you need to do that and then take 2 or 3 months and undo everything you just did by increasing your cardio, restricting your calories, and dieting so you can get right back to where you just were at the beginning? No, it's pointless, it's stupid, it's a waste of money, and it's a waste of your time. It is not efficient, it is extremely inefficient, and it's very unhealthy. It's yo-yo dieting for gym rats. Bulking and cutting is extremely unnecessary. I'll always be saying this. What you do need to do is forever, if you're serious about building muscle, make sure you consume enough protein on a daily basis and have a surplus calories of 100 to 150 calories. That's it. A surplus of 100 or 150 calories. So if you are eating 2,000 calories and you would like to forever build muscle, you just make sure you get enough protein that will be 1 gram, or if you're enhanced, 1.5 grams per pound of body weight. That's set, and then make sure your calories are 100 or 150 over 2,000. That is it. Bulking has no need. Bulking has no purpose. Bulking is for morons. I don't like it. Moving forward, how can I make a home gym cheap and simple? Okay, so I actually have a couple of videos on this, and I do apologize. I'll be making more soon. But in a nutshell, the easiest possible way for you to make a home gym would be for you to buy a chin-up bar for your doorway. You know, they make multiple different forms of chin-up bars for your doorways. Then you're going to go to Home Depot or Lowe's or Amazon, and you're going to order 2 pulleys and 2 sets of Velcro straps.
And then you're going to find some kind of weight. Weight can be anything from gallons of water to cans to buckets full of sand. It really doesn't particularly matter. All that matters is that you have some form of weight. That's all. And then you can start working out. Now, the best part about this is if you go to my videos on YouTube, I clearly demonstrate how to do all of these things. You don't really need anything to work out at home, because if you're using biomechanics, you don't need much weight at all. For your arms, if you're a guy, there's no way possible you need more than 50 pounds for your arms if you're a guy working out at home. There's no way possible for your legs, if you're a guy, you need more than 150 pounds. For a girl, it's significantly less. You can get all of that weight with just sand or dirt or bags or water bottles or anything. Stop being fancy and picky, buying these hundreds of dollar things, thinking you have to wait to get a gym membership, thinking you need all. You don't. You don't have to wait for anything. You can get a gym right now, and you can work out perfectly at home, better than if you hired one of the best personal trainers in the world, because you'll be using biomechanical knowledge, which is the best. So it's very easy. So anyways, you got the chin-up bar between your door. You set up those pulleys. I have a lot of videos about this, but real quick, just having the pulleys hanging from the chin-up bar, it gives you availability to work most of the muscles on your body. And then if you take and you leave one pulley hanging from the bar and you put another one on the wall, or you step on it, or however you want to do it, there's a million ways to do it. Then you also have a low pulley and a middle pulley, which means now you can train your entire body perfectly. And if you don't want to use cables, there's tons of other ways to do it. You don't even need cables. It's just the simplest and cheapest way. But there's lots of other ways to do it. Cinder blocks with sticks. You can make a bench with them. You can get ankle weights. You can make ankle weights. You can make dumbbells. I mean, there's so many ways, guys. There's no excuse not to be working out. All right, now that's it for this video, guys. I hope it was helpful. I will be clipping this up into little pieces for you all. I hope it helps. Leave your questions for the next video in the comments below. And guys, please don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. Get the little notification bell too, so you get all my videos, guys. It's not a big deal for you to do this. It is a big deal to me. I'm trying to grow my channel. I cannot do it alone, and I need your help. If you have not liked and commented and subscribed, please do so. It makes a huge difference to me. And don't forget, leave your questions in the comments, everybody. Have a great day.